Welcome back to Straight Facts on Wednesday. I'm joined by the brilliant Mo Gender. We are waiting for Husam, but neither of us know where he is. So he's
scared of Man United.
Scared now. Amorim's coming in. We don't know where he was. We thought oh, here he is. He was only 10 minutes late. There he is. He's arrived now. He's arrived. He's here. Welcome.
The money maker is here. Big up to you guys.
The money maker.
Sorry, I just had to help my mom out with something, but I'm here now.
No worries, no worries. We only just got started. Viewers, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribing. Make sure the bell notification button is also turned on as well. Get that done. Loads to talk about today. Amorim to Man United. How will he fix the football club? A potential big problem for Newcastle. Another report from the mainstream media that Newcastle's owners, Piff, and obviously the Crown Prince of Saudi, are looking to reduce the investment going into that football club. This could spell bad news for their growth. And does this mean now that many people think it does, that the likes of Isak potentially to Arsenal are now closer because he's already refusing a new deal because of the slowdown of the project? We're talking Ballon d'Or. Is it dead? I think it's been dead for years, as Husam will tell you, but we're going to be debating that on the show. Plus, we're looking ahead at the EFL Cup games. And the team that I think is under the most pressure plays tonight. Well, they all play tonight. I can't believe there's no games yesterday. But I think the team out of all of the traditional top six is under the most pressure tonight is Tottenham. And we are going to get into why. But gentlemen, how are you both?
Alhamdulillah, everything is good. Everything is great. We're good. Man United are back, which is we're happy to see it, of course, with Ruben Amorim and the structure and everything. Great games tonight. Make sure, guys, like the video. Let's get to 1,000 likes now. And if you're watching this on the replay, make sure to like the video before you go on and enjoy the show. It helps the channel, helps the algorithms and everything. Hit that like button, people, now. Thumbs up. It's free. Doesn't cost you a penny. So let's go.
There we go. And look, I think there's only one place to start today. My beautiful football club. We're getting a new manager in Amorim. We sacked Ten Hag. I've been honestly, I'm so looking forward to the game tonight because it would just feel a little bit different. We've got Amorim to look forward to. But yeah, I want to throw it to you two first, really. I've had a lot to say about it in the last couple of days. The viewers will be bored of listening to my opinions on Amorim at this stage. But Husam, how good an appointment do you think this is for Man United?
I hate the fact that I actually think this is a really good appointment, but it is. When Xabi Alonso said no, I wanted my club to get Amorim, so I'm not going to change my energy now. I really like Amorim as a manager. Some people have been equating him to Ten Hag. They're not the same at all. Ten Hag won the league twice with Ajax. Amorim won the league twice with Sporting Lisbon, which is the equivalent of winning it with a Feyenoord, or the equivalent of winning it with a lesser club like an Arsenal in the Premier League. Like, that's just the truth. He actually rebuilt the club as well. He lost his best players, like probably 2 or 3 times, he had to sell his players and rebuilt his team and won the league again. So he's shown the capability to work with a smaller budget as well, which is something as well that's very important for modern day managers. The fact that, not every time you're going to get the Rolls Royce, the luxury players. Sometimes you're going to have to make do with a different level of player, a different type of player. And that's the key thing here, which is he can work with a budget as well. Now, in terms of the appointment, I think the problem in this whole conversation, and I'm sure it's going to be a separate topic, is the Ineos thing. Because I think now they have to try build a club in the image of the club instead of build a club in the image of a manager. The problem is what they did with Ten Hag is even after keeping him, they still let him kind of have all his players. And now, the only ones that you could say probably is not his players is probably Lenny, Yoro and Ugarte. The rest of them are all, either Dutch league players, Ajax players, etc., Dutch players even, just in terms of nationality. But I think now it's a completely different system, a completely different style. 3 at the back, wing backs instead of full backs. Sometimes as well playing with 2 strikers. That's another thing as well people might keep in mind with the 5 at the back system. Sometimes you'll play with 2 strikers, not just 1 striker and wingers. So that's another thing as well. Sometimes you could play with 2 10s. So the 5 at the back system allows you to be creative in terms of the way you go forward. But I think now, like, obviously, he's going to have to buy different types of players. Mo gave this example before, and it's a correct example. the Inzaghi thing. He's like, Inter Milan have 5 strikers on the bench. 5 strikers, sorry, like as in 2 starting and 3 on the bench. They don't have a single winger. They don't have wingers playing in their team because Simeone Inzaghi doesn't use wingers. This is where the philosophy change might be a bit of an issue, in my opinion. And the fact that if they just did that, to be honest with you, let's say they did that in the summer, they would have allowed him to buy players that suited his system. And even if he didn't do a good enough job and Amorim was sacked, then you end up getting a similar manager with similar tactics, similar style. But I think the guy is a fantastic manager. He won 2 league titles out of 4 with Sporting Lisbon. Once again, I repeat, it's not like the same as winning it with Porto or Benfica. And he rebuilt the squad, he rebuilt the team twice. And he's won multiple trophies as well, not just leagues. He's won cups and stuff like that. So that's the thing that makes the difference. But now you have to fix what's going on upstairs. You fix what's going on upstairs, you will fix what happens downstairs. That's just my honest opinion on it. And actually, funnily enough, and I'll end on this, the performance as a performance against West Ham was probably one of your best performances of the season. You could have scored 4 or 5 goals literally in the first half. Like, you could have scored so many goals, but you just ended up kept missing chances. Which is why it makes me think like, bro, you guys met, had the 6-hour meeting. You guys came together in the summer, and that's the decision you went with, which is keep Ten Hag. And then you sacked him after actually one of your better performances. That's what I honestly think, because you could have sacked him after the 3-0. You could have sacked him after the bad games.
I think what's really interesting on the performance thing is something I heard Tuchel say in an interview a while back, maybe a year ago. This interview came out, and he said everybody talks about how in football performances matter the most. He said, but in my experience, he said, every time I've lost my job or my job's been under pressure, it's been because of results. And I just think when you're at a club like Manchester United, and I think as a Liverpool fan, you should be able to relate to this, and Inter, you both support gigantic clubs, but Man United, I still think, has a certain level of attention and scrutiny that it gets that most don't. And that's that you have, yes, performances are key, but you've got to win at the same time. There isn't like it with Amorim.
Of course, your team is not 14th level bad. 100%, you're right.
Yeah. So, but the point I'm making, Amorim can't go through the next 3 years just making the football better. He has got to win, or at least come very close to winning trophies. You know, if he gets to a final against Man City and you're narrowly beaten 2-1, it's annoying. But you okay, we know we can win it the next year. We know we've got the ability to. He has got to get us to a certain level. I want to ask you a question about what you said. I agree that the running of the club has got to continue improving. I thought the summer was a good start. Where I disagree is that we bought loads of Ten Hag's players. I know there is the Ajax connection. Cool. But let me ask you a question. What players did we buy in the summer that do you believe are a complete opposite of what Amorim will want? Which Lenny Euro, De Ligt, Maswari, Ugarte, I mean, I don't think he is. Which of the players did we buy are completely wrong for the Amorim system, in your opinion?
I mean, Ugarte literally played under Amorim, so he's definitely gonna shine in the thing. He was at Sporting Lisbon before he went to PSG. I wanted him at my club to play the club system, so I rate Ugarte personally. I don't think Ugarte is a bad player at all, by the way. I think in terms of the center backs, in terms of the wing backs, Mazraoui for sure. Because I would assume that Amorim would want, if you're playing with wing backs, you would probably want someone maybe who goes a bit more further forward. And I would say as well, maybe someone like a Xerxes, because he might need a different type of striker. So this is the things that we speak about. Like maybe he wants a different type of player. Mazraoui is your solid fullback. When you signed Mazraoui, I wasn't one of the people that criticized it. So let's push that to the side. I thought it was a good signing. But if you're gonna play with wing backs, Mazraoui might not be your guy. Like that's what I'm saying as example. So there are, I think, 2 or 3 players. Would Amorim necessarily have signed De Ligt? I don't know. So that's my point. All my point is, Terry, is the following. Okay, you're currently 30th October, 28th October. You sacked him. I get why you gave Ten Hag a chance. I understand it. There wasn't managers available in the market, but Amorim was available at the time, because he went to interview with West Ham. He had to apologize to the Sporting fans for interviewing in the middle of a title race. Liverpool then rejected him. And then on top of that, he was sat there in the summer. If you were unconvinced of Ten Hag anyway and wanted to get Amorim, might as well hire Amorim, give him the chance to do the transfers, and take it from there.
I actually believe that the team is built for Amorim. I said that before. You remember when I said Inzaghi? I actually think in terms of a starting 11 and flexibility of players, I believe Amorim will absolutely fix Man United. And it's going to be shorter than what people think. The team is built for him. Mazraoui is a wing back, not a fullback. He is like a 50-50 guy in both aspects. I think actually Mazraoui going forward is better than defensively. I know Man United fans saw that, but watching Mazraoui at Bayern Munich and at Ajax and with Morocco, he's a very good player going forward. He's not the strongest defender physically. He's not. I believe the team is built for him. Absolutely, you have every single tool at your front line for him to play 2 striker formation and 3 forward formations with the wingers, with Amad Diallo, Garnacho, Rashford, Xerxes and Horner. He can play 2 striker formation, which is Rashford can be a forward and also can be a winger. Amad Diallo can play behind. Bruno Fernandes can play behind the 2 forwards. It's very flexible. I genuinely believe if you're looking at this Amorim thing, the team is built for a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2. All you need now is depth. Can Man United spend in the summer or in the January to get the depth needed? Yes. We have seen it over the last summers. The Man United can spend. This, when I said the Man United are finished, I genuinely believed that you won't be able to attract this manager. That you would only attract the Thomas Franks, the McKennas, and these managers. Because Amorim was linked to Man City. By the way, people forget that he was tipped to follow Pep Guardiola. And you watch Man City spaces now, everyone is saying, okay, now we thought that this guy's coming in to replace Guardiola if he leaves. What happens now?
Did you know what I noticed yesterday, right? And by the way, Man United would also do this, so I'm not digging at anyone's clubs. The PR yesterday. You know, you get some clubs go, my club doesn't do PR like yours. No, they all do. The second it came out that this deal was going to happen, the Liverpool briefs, the City briefs, straight away out to journalists, let them know that at no point was this manager ever under consideration. Where was those briefings from those said clubs when the links were there? Where were those briefings? They weren't anywhere. But look, I don't even look at it as he's rejected other teams for Man United. Sometimes it's just about the perfect storm in the sense of when it came to Pep, Man United missed out on him twice because we didn't have our ducks in a row. It's not that he rejected coming to us. We wanted him, but we never made an official approach. I don't think City made an official approach to Amorim. I think he was just on their list of managers. But also, we know that I've read reports that Arteta's on the list, and who's that guy that's gone to Marseille? De Zerbi's been on the list. And what's interesting, in another 2 years' time, if Pep's still here, some of those managers will be off that list. And Ten Hag was on the list about 4 years ago, if I remember reading an article correctly. Sorry, back to you, Mo. Sorry.
Yeah, the only problem that I see in this appointment are the egos of the players. I said that Man United might needed 2 steps to fix it. One, to steer the ship, which is a bigger personality than Amorim. Someone like a Tuchel or a Conte, that just not long-term, short, to steer the ship once, and then you get the project manager. However, now it's down to
I can't believe you're waffling about a Tuchel and a Conte still in 2024.
I don't think you understand the point.
No, I understand what you're saying, but they're not steer the ship managers.
No, they are.
Conte went to Napoli this season. They have a chance of winning
the ship right away, bro.
No, that's not called steer the ship. No, that's not called the steer the ship.
Understand.
He's going into Napoli.
So that means you don't
Can I just say one sentence?
No, you can't.
He's going into Napoli.
No, it's my section. Sam, okay, great.
He's literally going to win the league.
This is what. But hold on. I don't think you understand the point. Changing the mentality, which is what Roy Keane was talking about. Okay? Do you know what Roy Keane said under Oli? And then when Erik ten Hag, when Rangnick said, he said the problem at Man United, it's embedded in the mentality of the player. That's what I call steering the ship. Is when a player puts in the Man United shirt, they believe that we should be challenging no matter what. We should be winning every game. We go to every game as favorites. That's what I call steering the ship. I'm not saying that Antonio Conte will fix the club or Thomas Tuchel, but I believe these ilks of managers, even though they might not win you the league or might not get you top 4, what they do is they embed a mentality at the club that is, we are favorites to every game we play because we're Man United. Antonio Conte coaching Napoli, they were 10th last season. Do you know what he did?
And they won the league the year before.
Yes. But do you know what he did? Right away, he brought back this. He brought back the mentality of like, we need to win. Can Amorim do that with the likes of Rashford? With the players that haven't won? With the players that you see head down after a goal conceded?
Can I ask you a question?
That is the problem. Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea.
Please?
Yes, go ahead.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You are sat in a room with John W. Henry, the owner of Liverpool, and you're sat with Avram Glazer, the owner of Man United, in the summer. both of them are asking you, Antonio Conte, Liverpool have no manager, United have no manager, summer 2024. Who does he suit more?
Antonio Conte might suit Liverpool going forward.
Tactics.
Might go Liverpool going because Liverpool are ready.
And that's my point, Terry. But I have to say something important.
I understand the point.
Can I just say something? I have to clarify.
I don't think you understood the point.
Mo has it in reverse, and let me tell you why first, and then fight me. Let me tell you why.
I'm not gonna fight you, bro.
Conte does not suit Manchester United right now at all.
Correct.
Conte will suit Man United if Amorim rebuilds the club to the level where he's so close to the line but can't get over the line.
I disagree,
That's
but
when
fine.
let me finish. That's when you go get an Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte, yes, he changed Napoli around, but Napoli just 12 months before finishing 10th won the Serie A.
Yes,
I disagree with you, but fine. I disagree with you completely. I think Thomas Tuchel, when he went to Chelsea, the difference is when Frank Lampard was at Chelsea, they used to concede a lot of goals, but score a lot of goals as well.
But the thing with Tuchel going to Chelsea, how many years before Tuchel arrived were they champions of England and winning trophies? How many years? Was it 2 or 3?
Say that again?
How many years when Tuchel arrived? How many years prior to that were they champions of England?
2017 to 2021. 2023. So it's three years.
About 3 years. Again, so I look at 3 years. Did they win anything in between that period?
No.
As well. They won no
won a
trophies.
cup.
They won the Europa League.
Yeah, they won the Europa League and they won an FA Cup in 2018 as well. So again, what you're looking at here is a different kettle of fish. Man United, in fairness, have won some trophies. I do agree to a certain level that Man United are not. I don't like the generic term of win now or project manager, because I think Amorim has the ability to build Man United up and win us trophies. There are some, like the way we make it sound as if that some managers that are project managers also can't win you the major trophies. But I think there's a certain manager, like players at certain stages of their careers, it almost would feel like a step down to go to a club that isn't in a position where it's ready to win. Because you've already, a lot of those managers, I mean, Pep's never done it. He's so successful for so long, there's almost I'd love to see him do it, but there's almost a feeling of, why would I put myself through that again? It's like you in your working life, Mo, same as me. You got all those promotions, you got to those senior levels. The idea of going back down 2, 3, 4 grades to build up, it's actually really hard to motivate yourself to do that as well. So I do understand that. But what I think, that's what I like about this appointment. There are no guarantees Amorim is going to win us any of these major trophies. But I think the squad is a lot better than people are giving it credit for. It's why you've seen me kicking off with Don and Ches in our group chats today, because they've got a lot of mouth, but they've got no chest when it comes to their points. They were angry yesterday that I said the Man United and Chelsea squads are comparable, even though I said Chelsea's squad is better. They're kind of like, what do you mean comparable? How can you say comparable? They think they're clear. What they won't answer is how far clear they'll finish with Man United this year. They're willing to say we'll come 4th, 4th, 5th, and you might come up like between 5th and 8th, but they won't give a kind of points total. And I'm not even asked for it to be exact. You can give a range, and a few people have said, "Oh, Terry, why does the points total matter?" And I think it does. If you come 4th and I come 10th, but there's 5 points that separate us, we're still very close. Where if I come 5th and you come 4th, but you're 20 points ahead of me, there's a far bigger gap. But as I say, I think that, so yeah, by the way, Don, you're on the show Friday, gives you 2 days to think about an answer for it. But yeah, from my point of view, I just feel that
you've really been going at it with them in the group chat. 200 messages and shit like you.
It weren't 200 messages from me. It was a collective group, but it was just this element of, I'm not upset if you think Chelsea's squad is worse than Man United's, better than Man United's, superior in a big way. On a personal level, I don't care that much. What I'm asking for as a content creator, what I'm asking for is someone who has built a channel and platform that's built around football conversations and debate, plus the group chats that sit behind it, is I'd like honest, direct answers. I don't think it is fair in a footballing conversation for me to say, I think Man United are clear of Tottenham. Oh, how far do you think you'll finish ahead of them? I can't say. It doesn't make sense. I've made the point. I'm clear. Well, let's get a little bit specific. And I'll be specific, but I won't use Man United. I think Arsenal are so clear of Tottenham, they will again this season finish between 20 and 30 points ahead of them in the league. I can be specific because I believe it, right? The same as I think by the end of the season. Right now, I still feel like City are going to win the league, but I think it's only going to be anywhere between sort of 2 to 5 to 6 points, 2 to 6 points between top and third as of right now. That's because I believe they're very close to each other. I think you can do this. What I get frustrated about, and that's the only reason I was doing it in the group chat, is when people make claims, but then they won't expand upon them. And they keep them very generic and vague. And I just think, why would you ever want to do that? And by the way, if you're right, great. If you're wrong, great. It isn't going to stop you from growing as a YouTuber. It isn't going to get you kicked off the terrace whether you're right or wrong. It's just answer the questions.
So you want basically an answer like Liverpool are clear of Man United and we're going to finish 15 points ahead of you. That's what you want.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't...
Clarity.
That was an example in... If you said to me, Terry, we are so superior to you, I would expect you to finish. Superior to me means you're finishing 10 to 15, 20 points ahead of me. Finishing 3 points ahead of me isn't superior. It's marginally... It's one game. It's marginally better. You know, it's like me saying, I'm so much stronger than you, Husam. We go to the gym, I bench press 100 kilos, and you bench press 95, and I go, told you I was much stronger than you. You're not, right? That's my point. It's about specificity in these things. If I bench 100 and you're benching 40, then I'm much stronger than you. And I just think that sometimes people say things, like there's a comment that came through earlier, right? That said, and this kind of segues nicely. It says, Mo and Sam, so that you know before you start, Terry has already declared that United are thrashing Chelsea. Didn't say that. I stated that if Amorim is in charge on Sunday, we will beat Chelsea. No one's asked me by what scoreline, and I have never said we've thrashed them because I'm not disrespecting them. So that's a lie based on what I said, and I'll get specific on it. If Amorim's the manager, I think we'll win. I think it will be by no more, in my opinion, than one clear goal. It will be a 2-1 or a 3-2. I think it'll be a high goal scoring game, but I think we'll win it. That's no disrespect on Chelsea. That's not me saying Chelsea are crap. It's not me saying we're clear of you. And I put it all down to one thing. I think there'd be new manager bounce that would make us win the game. Again, my friend here, Data, is stating that I said we'll thrash them. I didn't. Now, if I said we'd thrash them, and then you went, Terry, what's the scoreline? And I go, well, can't say. Then why am I making the claim we're going to thrash you but don't want to give a scoreline? That's weird. Thrashing is, to me, 3 or more goal scoreline. That's a thrashing in football, in my opinion. So if I said that, I'd give you that prediction, but I'm not. So, yeah, thank you for that super chat, bro. But, yeah, it just annoyed me. It's like, I don't mind what people say, but at least back your argument with a little bit of chess, maybe. But there we go. The boys will be on.
You could beat Chelsea at Old Trafford, but I think it's more likely they beat you. And the reports apparently are international break. That Amorim will take over apparently after the international break.
Yeah, I've seen these stories.
I don't know how accurate it is, to be fair.
Well, a few people in the comments have said thoughts like there's a 30-day notice period for him. By the way, viewers, hit the like button right now, please. 3,200 people watching, so get that like button smashed for us. Look. There is a notice period. United are negotiating it. You probably find it's done. You probably find that we've already got that sorted. I cannot imagine us waiting 30 days. I just can't see that happening. This reminds me of when everybody said it was going to take us 12 months to get Dan Ashworth. We managed, or we had to pay £12 million or £20 million. We ended up getting him 6 months earlier, and we got him for like 2 or 3 million. We're just negotiating the price down. I think it's 10 million to get him out. I think they want an extra £3 million to get his coaching staff and the early release out. And I think Man United will end up paying it. And that's fine. I'm happy with that, because why would you want to wait? I don't think we'd have allowed the story to leak if we weren't confident of getting him in. So it's a story and there's some truth to it. But I mean, I saw one English journalist say Man United have confirmed they'll have him before December. I'm like, fucking hell, it's October. Of course, we're going to have him before December. Like, he's going to be the Man United manager. I think next 24 hours, there'll be some sort of formal announcement. He may not be in charge for Sunday, but yeah, I'm
Does anybody think there is the kickback from specifically 2 fan bases that I've seen on Twitter, Chelsea and Man City, is due to the fact that Chelsea fans wanted Amorim before Maresca? They wanted De Zerbi. They didn't want a championship manager. And now he chose Man United. And the City fans, because of him, because the reports were coming that someone told him to wait for Man City, but he didn't wait. He chose Man United. Does anybody think that Chelsea fans really are looking at this like, maybe you could have gone instead of Maresca. Yes, they're happy with Maresca now, but you can't tell me that resume for Maresca is comparable at all to the resume of Ruben Amorim.
I don't think it's. I don't think Chelsea fans are annoyed that they have Maresca and not Amorim. I don't think it's. I think Chelsea fans are very happy with what they're doing. I think City fans believe they know they're going to get a very good replacement after Pep, Amorim or not. I believe what the problem is, and I've seen it from a lot of fan bases, some Chelsea fans have just been a bit more honest. I think the reason why Chelsea fans are piping up is because they play us next in the league. And there is that element of, why does it have to be us? Why does it have to be us they're playing? So I think there's a little bit of that. But I think what most rivals of Man United know is there is the potential for this to be a very good appointment. Again, Husam's right. Culturally, we need to fix things. We need to get a better squad over the next couple of years. But there's a very, very good chance that this goes well. And the major difference, which everybody wants to ignore, is that we are not operating the same way as a football club anymore. Not in any way, shape, or form. We're just not. The timing of this, the speed of the changeover, and the fact that we have real football people making these decisions now. Again, if this was Ed Woodward, a banker, hiring his sixth manager, I would be gutted, because it wouldn't even matter how good the manager is. You just know it's going to end in absolute disaster. You know, so yeah, I'm not over worried. How do you guys see the game going between Man United and Chelsea this weekend? What would your prediction? Let's just say Amorim's not there because he hasn't been formally announced yet. Ruud's going to be the manager. How do you see this game going, Husam, at the weekend?
Chelsea are the better team. Well, I'd say that Chelsea are the better team than Manchester United. But at the same time, Man United have been Chelsea's bogey team. I mean, the last 10 years, I don't know how many times they've beaten Man United. I don't think it's been that much. I think the Poch 4-3 win was the first time they beat them in a really long time, to be honest with you. So I don't think, like, this won't be an easy game. I'm not going to go that far. I think Chelsea are the better side. They have the better starting 11. Probably Man United might get this, but here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to give you two things. I'm going to give you with Amorim, without. Without Amorim, I don't think much changes. Obviously, Ruud being there is a different voice and stuff, but he was a voice there anyway. So I don't think much changes. I think Chelsea will beat Man United at Old Trafford if Ruud is there. If Amorim is there, then players will want to impress. Players will play out of their skin. Players will give 190% on the football pitch. So I think that might make a little bit of a difference for Manchester United. And I think probably this game has like a 2-2 written all over it, you know, a draw, something like that. That's honestly what I think happens. But if you tell me right now you have to choose one winner in that game, I will have to say Chelsea, because they've been in a very good form, obviously, this season. They've lost to Liverpool, which you expect, you know, because we're better. But other than that, I think Chelsea are a good side, and they're getting better. So I'll probably say Chelsea, to be honest with you, can win. But it's not impossible that United will win.
Yeah,
I'm going to say 40-20.
What is this new percentages and favorites and stuff, bro?
40% Chelsea win, 40% draw, 20% United win.
I think Chelsea gonna win it with 2+ goal margins, to be honest, at Old Trafford. It's not because if Amorim comes in, he's gonna need a little bit of time to implement the 3-4-3, or I don't know if he's gonna play 4 at the back. Sometime, yeah. It can't turn around quickly. No, it can't turn around quickly. I don't think a lot of time. They find a lot of time. Like the rest of the season, no. I think that Chelsea will win this game. They are in a better form than Man United. They're more established. I think Man United, some of the players now, I actually think about it, some of the players will be worried about their place, especially because of the change of style of play. Well, Rashford's going to be worried about his spot. Bruno Fernandes is going to be worried about his spot. Who's going to start on the wing? Who's going to start up top? I know that people think they're going to impress. The people that are going to impress are the younger guys. The older guys are going to be worried about their spot.
Bruno?
Marcus Rashford is worried. Bruno Fernandes is worried. I know that he's Portuguese and everything. He never coached him before.
Yes, he did. Check the facts.
I did check it yesterday.
When did he?
Amorim coached Bruno for a year, I think.
No. They missed it. They missed each other.
March 2020. So, okay, March 2020 is when Amorim took over Sporting. January 2020, right before COVID, is when Bruno left Sporting to go to Man United.
Okay.
So he never coached him. Bruno Fernandes, the problem with Bruno Fernandes is that based on, I watched the video that Terry did yesterday, and I watched another video that Mina posted the other day about how he plays, and I watched some games. He plays 3-4-3. Bruno Fernandes doesn't have a spot in that formation that he plays. Bruno Fernandes doesn't have a place in that spot. He doesn't play in the two defensive midfielders place, and he doesn't play on the side. So the only guy that is in this team that doesn't have a spot, unless it's built around him to change, is Bruno.
Yeah, I think
so. That's why I think Bruno, and he's the captain, is going to be worried. That's why I'm saying.
Yeah,
Sam think that the player going to impress. I think some of the senior players will be worried a little bit about their place at the team instead of being to impress.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. Look, do you know one thing I'm not going to do this time round? And I think Man United content creators have done this on numerous times with new managers. Who's going to cook and who's going to be sold? Who's going to make it? Who isn't? I'm going to say this now. Barring Ugarte, because there's history there. Lenny Euro as well. I think he's too talented.
Lisandro,
but again, even Lisandro, I'm not putting him in it. And actually, Onana, I think, might do quite well. Outside of those three players, I'm not putting bets on anybody making it or anybody going. I've got no idea. I've got genuinely... When I say that, we can all guess. I've got a gut feeling, but I'm just not even putting it out there, really. I'm not worried about it. This weekend's going to be a really interesting game for me, and I think that... And tonight is going to... If we had Amorim, I predict a win. If we don't have him, I'm waiting to see what happens tonight against Leicester before I make a prediction. And I mean that because I feel that...
It's Leicester City, Terry. Have some shame.
No, but this is what you got to remember. And I think that, again, as a Liverpool fan, think back before it was Klopp, right? Think back before even the good Brendan Rodgers days. You, man, were so bad back then that you would struggle against teams of this current Leicester's level, right? So when you started to improve and get better, you noticed that you had noticed a difference. If we go out tonight under Rude and there's a freedom and there's a kind of happiness and the weight's off everybody's shoulders and we put three or four goals past them, look comfortable, win well, then I believe we can beat Chelsea. I believe it'd be a close game still. If we go out there tonight and it looks very similar to Ten Hag's, where it's sluggish and we don't really look like we know what we're doing, then I think Chelsea are going to win. So I need to see today's game because I need to see what the players' attitude is like. I need to see how the players are moving and feeling. One really interesting story that came out, though, which I thought was really intriguing, is some of the stories I thought were a little bit harsh. Like, okay, I don't think Ten Hag's failed because he's changed where the lockers are in the dressing room and stuff. I think that stuff's crazy. The one thing I do think that stands out is every time we didn't perform well or win, he put in extra training, and the players were feeling exhausted. And he believed that was the right way to improve his team. And I can only go by my own personal experiences of being an athlete back in the day, that there is such thing as too much training. And our tournaments were a little bit different. We had regular tournaments each month, but we had big tournaments 3 or 4 times a year. We obviously had the World Championships at the end of the year. There was the French Open, the British Open, the US Open were our biggest tournaments. And we would train in a way and even compete in a way where we would try our best to try and taper down to those events. Now, I understand that playing week in, week out is a little bit different, but I still think there needs to be an element of recovery and tapering to try and get to your peak levels that week. If you're losing a game on a Saturday and got another game on a Wednesday, but you're then being put through absolutely like gut-wrenching training sessions the day after, and you're not really recovering properly, no one else is. The successful teams are not doing that, and they continue to be successful. So I don't see how creating a method that nobody uses to be successful or maintain success is going to stop a team, is going to take a team from struggling to making them successful. Do you get where I'm coming from? Like, I understand discipline. I understand letting them know who's boss, but the best teams in the world didn't train as regularly or as hard as we did. Therefore, how could we ever think that was going to work? So I actually feel like the best thing Rude could do this week is get the guys in a good mood. And it's may sound weird to say out loud, but contextually it makes sense, is make them train a little bit less. And they might feel like our players have said they were being put through strenuous training the day before big games and they were feeling knackered. Of course you would, because whenever you play a big game, the next day you recover. But we weren't doing that. We were being made to play another fucking game in training. I just hope that sort of stuff stops, really. Super chats we're going to jump into now. This here says that Rude should get this season, then Amorim next season to fully fix the United squad. No. It's just
nope, you're just delaying the process.
Yeah, no, I disagree with that wholeheartedly, my friend. I really, really do. This super chat here says Amorim Ted's, it's easy. I don't know what that means.
Amorim Ted.
I don't know.
What does that mean,
either.
Sean? You're a Liverpool fan, so you must be sarcastic, but fine. But we won't understand the joke.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Rewrite it maybe. Where will United finish with Amorim to the panel this season? Gut feeling 6th.
I don't fucking know. I had them 6th before the season started, so I'm gonna just say 6th.
Then you changed to like 9th with Ten Hag.
No, I put Spurs 9th. I'm going 6th for.
I would
6th,
right
6th.
now. Yeah, I'm gonna gut feeling right now without a ball being kicked. I'm gonna say 6th as well. I think the squad's good enough. Amorim will do well at United, but United fans are demanding top 4 already. Look, anyone who's demanding top 4, what I have noticed, and I'm not going to go too deep on this, there are some Man United fans. I've already seen their tweets. I've already seen their content on TikTok and other places. They're already planting the seed to start the Amorim in, the Amorim out brigade. Some do this thing where they go over the top. This squad's going to cook. I think we're going to win. I think we're going to do this and that, just so they can turn around and say, he frauded me. They didn't fraud you. You're fucking lying now, right? Equally, there are other. I just see them, but I'm not worried about those United fans because they'll be negative no matter what. Even if we're good, they'll be negative because remember, that's the only way they get attention on TikTok. Thank you, how do you pronounce that?
Sparks, Stevie.
Sparks. Is that you? Okay, Sparks. Thank you very, very much for becoming a member. It's like City, Liverpool, and Arsenal are clear. Yeah, I would say so.
Yes.
They are clear. I agree.
If Chelsea want to be clear, they have to create that separation.
They do. And do you know what you create that with? Points. It's the only actual, but that and trophies are the only two things because league positions don't always count. And I'll give you an example. Nobody said that Man United were close to Man City in 2018 and in 2021 where we came second because we finished 20 to 30 points behind them. I am not going to fucking allow the narrative to change again now. Bollocks. I'm not having it. Not on my platform. Do it somewhere else. Not here. Ain't happening. We all said we were nowhere near them. We're maintaining that. The position didn't matter, did it? The thing is our team is suited to play a back 3 from the start. We look better in possession in that compared to a 2. One thing is he is a style and hasn't changed it. He's also cleared out fan favorites. Yeah, I've read a lot of stuff. Just really interesting as well. What gets me a bit excited, but I'm staying calm. Watching fans do interviews, crying their eyes out about how much he fixed their club and how much they love him. That for me is always when I saw Jose leave Inter and the players were crying. When I saw Jose leave Porto and fans and players were crying, I always think that's a good sign, personally. Big up you guys. I love the show. I think Mo is correct to some extent about the squad. Lots of United rumored summer targets were sporting players, which makes a lot of sense. Viewers, make sure you hit the like and the share button. Make sure you subscribe. Before we come on to tonight's games, I wanted to speak to you guys about a big story that's come out today in relation to Newcastle, which I think has ramifications for a lot of the teams in England. But the article, this is from the Eye, that they have stated, and this isn't the first article. There's been a number of these articles recently, and others claim that PIF, or at least the sort of Saudi backing element of it in their sports program, are looking at maybe trying to buy someone like a Liverpool or buy someone like a Chelsea, and they've sort of lost a bit of interest in Newcastle. And the story claims that Newcastle face another financial squeeze after the club's owners, the Saudi Arabian PIF, confirmed that they are scaling back its foreign investment. So not just Newcastle, but scaling back on its foreign investment. And even with things like the boxing, I want to put this out there, the Riyadh season stuff and a lot of the boxing they put money into. There's been a number of events that haven't been done in Saudi. The boxing promoters have now been told we're going to do more, but we're doing it all here as opposed to spending it internationally. How big a problem do you think this is for Newcastle if it indeed is true? And I'm saying this, I know there are statements from certain journalists saying this isn't true. I know Newcastle publicly will defend this right now, especially PIF. But there's been so many articles about it. I can't help but think there's no smoke without fire.
Listen. سارعي للمجد والعلياء. You get me? That's the Saudi national anthem right there. I've learned it. I am a massive fan. You know, it's time. Saudi Arabia, there's one club you have to save. You get me? It's the great Liverpool Football Club. All the foundations are built for you, Habibis. Just come put the money in so we can fucking win, bro. I've had enough. Listen, the reason why this is happening is FFP. The road to success with Newcastle is a lot longer road, a lot longer map to the treasure than the one City had. There is no infinite spending. There is no you can do whatever the hell you want. Now you've got to build it up slowly and slowly and slowly, and sponsorships and blah blah blah, and you have to, keep your finances in check and all that shit. So even if Saudi Arabia bought Luton, they can't be successful with them quickly. Like, there is no quick way to success now. You have to build it step by step by step. You can do a Brighton where you sell your best players, try to reinvest it, and create a similar ethic, if you would like, a similar structure, a similar style. You can be sell to buy. There's plenty of different ways, but you have to limit your finances. I think Saudi Arabia are in a position where maybe they want to buy a club which is already ready and has all the foundations in place that make the 500-600 million in revenue and in whatever it is, so they can just come in, spend their money, have the winners in there, and just cook, to be honest with you. And that's what I think right now maybe Saudi Arabia is looking at, because you can't really, if you would like be successful as a Saudi Arabian investor unless you go through a really long path with Newcastle. Now, if you buy a Liverpool, we're already making 600 million in revenue. You could go spend 300 million in a summer. We wouldn't break any FFP rule, to be honest with you, given how less we've spent over the last 5-6 years. You could just go spend like a shitload of money, make a club very, very successful, and take it from there. So I understand why. It's just because it's a much longer road. You're not going to get to the podiums and to the finals and to any shit like that without spending a shitload of money that they can't afford to spend right now. And all this is down to FFP. And this goes back to a year ago, where we had this conversation, and I still remember to this day. I've had many conversations with the likes of LB, on Straight Facts here, with Terry, with Mo. I agree with FFP. I'm not against FFP, because here's the thing that people need to understand: as rich as someone is, there's always someone richer down the road. Chelsea fans right now might go like, I don't agree with FFP. I want us to spend as much money as blah, blah, blah. If you think Todd Bowley is rich, you don't know about UAE rich. And then the UAE guy is like, I don't know about Qatar rich. And then the Qatar guy is like, I don't know about Saudi rich. Like, the rich comes in different levels. So if Saudi Arabia were allowed to spend as much money they wanted on Newcastle in the next 5 years, I have no doubt in my mind they'll probably win 3 league titles in the next 5 years, because they'll simply just go buy the best players in every position and just cook, to be honest with you. There's nothing stopping them except FFP. This is why FFP is needed, because we want fairer competition. And even then, Saudi could still win with Newcastle. It's just a longer road.
Do you know what's interesting about what you've said there, though, is this. Mama Flossie, that's a Newcastle fan. Do you know what, Mama Flossie? Long-time viewer, member, moderator of the Terrace. Love her to bits. Thank you for being honest. I know there's been some new associated party transaction rules that have come in. However, the length and the breadth of the PSR FFP rules that exist, how much owners can and can't invest, were in place when they were going through the process of buying the club. They also, at the beginning of the process, and I remember listening to Kendall, that used to be on the Terrace quite a lot, she's smashing it, doing her other things. I remember listening to her on a show, and it probably was Midnight Vibes, but I heard her on the Overlap say this, that Newcastle fans are aware because Piff briefed this. They know this is a 10-year project to get them to the top. So when I hear people say it's because of these bloody PSR and FFP rules that they're going to walk away potentially, it might be because they're not getting to where they're meant to be quick enough. But that goes absolutely against what they initially briefed. They knew that it was always going to take that long. But when I hear that people say that PSR and FFP and all of these rules stop teams from growing, it's not true. City only had 2 years of unlimited spending before these rules came in 2011-12. They had 2 years, and they weren't the best team in the world after 2 years. PSG went from turning over £100 million a year in revenue. I swear Newcastle was double that, if not nearly 3 times that when Piff came in. The Qatari takeover took place in 2011. So PSG had little to no period where FFP didn't exist. Yet, in that time period, they have gone from £100 million a year turnover to the 3rd biggest club in the world in terms of revenue of 800 million. It just takes years. It just takes time. Of course, PSG were playing football in a league where, because of their owners, they then did have the financial monopoly. But compared to the rest of Europe, it's taken them the best part of a decade and a half to get to a point where they genuinely are one of the wealthiest clubs in terms of income. So I understand that PSR frustrates Newcastle fans because they want to go and spend it big now. But that was never the briefing in the beginning. And we should never ignore what was said in the beginning, that this was meant to be a 10-year project. And I think 3 or so years into a 10-year project, I think they're in a really good space. I do think they're in a really good space. And when I also hear people say, "Oh, just let them spend what they want," listen, go research Vincent Tan at Cardiff City. Go look at the Venkeys at Blackburn. Go look at Hicks and Gillette when they went to Liverpool. Go and look at Wimbledon or MK Dons as they're now known takeover. Go and look at West Ham's billionaire takeovers. Before FFP came in, there were multiple billionaire owners that took over clubs that nearly took them out of business over debts worth 30, 40, 50 million pounds. The controls and balances are needed. Because let's play devil's advocate here. Let's just say PIF are getting bored of football. Say they're looking at it and saying, "You know what? We obviously know what they're trying to do. They're trying to attract more people to Saudi. They're trying to get more eyes on Saudi, which is fair. That's part of what Riyadh season is. I've got friends that have gone to the boxing over there, said it's amazing. I went to the football in Qatar. I loved it out there. Safest place in the world I've ever been. Wonderful people, treated like a king. And I'm just talking in walking down a normal suburban street, right? I'm not talking about being looked after by an actual king or a prince. Maybe they've just gone, I'm a bit bored of it. And if they have done that, which is plausible, this is exactly why FFP is needed, why PSR is needed. Could you imagine the trouble Newcastle would be in if they had £1 billion worth of wages debts that they could only afford if the owners were there, but the owners say, "Bored now, don't want to do it anymore." You could leave a club in absolute, in a destitute state. So for me, it's going to be a real interesting time. I'm actually sad for Newcastle on a real level. I thought the way Mike Ashley treated that football club was nothing short of illegal. It shouldn't be allowed what he did. Go back and watch the videos. I have no issues with the Saudis owning football clubs. I have no issue with anybody from the Middle East owning a football club in England. I think that a lot of the criticism of it was highly hypocritical, especially from journalists who work and get paid by newspapers that are also owned by people from that region of the world. It's always crazy. I was happy for Newcastle fans. I felt that after all those years of Mike Ashley, they deserved it. But my gut feeling right now, and I hope I'm wrong, is the volume of stories talking about their potential exit or pulling back. I've got a horrible feeling from a Newcastle perspective that it's true. And what I don't believe is that they're pulling away because they want to lower their foreign investment. I think Husam could be right here, and it's a case of a Chelsea. And I don't know how they would buy Chelsea because of Chelsea's ownership and stuff, but money does talk.
That's why I would assume it's more likely my club.
With Liverpool, I think they may look at it and just go, "This is a better bet." They're already at the top. They'll be able to get the sponsorship deals through. Everything will be there. It's a global club that already has a gargantuan fan base. I just think there's some truth. I just think there's some truth in it personally.
They found it harder. Okay, so my take on this is that the Saudi owners found it harder than what they thought it is. Now they're sitting 11th on the table. They made top 4 in the beginning. Now they went 7th. I think they found it harder. Also, the likes of Isak and the likes of these people might leave for bigger clubs. I think they found that it's either we get a better club or a bigger club like a Liverpool or Man United, something like from that ilk, or we go and invest more in their Saudi league. Because I believe the Saudi league itself is getting more attention than Newcastle in the world.
That's so true.
The older target is sports washing. You want to take it bad or good? I believe it's a good thing. As Terry said, Qatar World Cup is which is people come to Qatar and realize it's a good place. People go to Saudi Arabia and realize it's a good place for tourism.
You know where's the World Cup after USA and Mexico?
Let me just finish. Yes, exactly. Like people have all this negative media about the Middle East. Buying Newcastle, investing in the league, Qatar hosting the World Cup. We'll got someone like Terry going there, some other journalists going there and realizing, oh, this place is good. This place is phenomenal. I enjoyed my time there. It's not as bad as you all are saying. I think Newcastle, they found that it's tougher job to get Newcastle to the top, especially with other, in PSG, it was much easier, right? Than trying to battle a Man City who has a £1 billion turnover, or 900, or Liverpool with 800 million turnover, or Man United. It's much harder to get to that level, especially with all the transaction, the associated party transactions and all the stuff. I think they're scared of losing their best players. So they said,
you
know what?
I want to add to that. Sorry, Mark. I want to add to that and come back to you. It's also this element of, and I mean this with all due respect to Newcastle, there is a finite amount of top-class players that you can put into a squad that can win the major trophies in Europe. There's a handful of them, right? You've already got Real Madrid and Barcelona and Bayern Munich. You've already got Liverpool. You've already got Man United. City of course, are in that mix now 100%. They're a prestigious club. They've got a player that's won a Ballon d'Or. Whether people like it or not, they have. They've won all these trophies. You've got Arsenal's and you've got Chelsea's. You know, and I'm not even mentioning the Italian sides. There's already so many clubs that are ahead of Newcastle financially and status-wise. That's why it's 10, 15 plus years to catch that. Because even when you sign an Isak, when these other clubs start knocking on the door, it is so hard for his head not to be turned. Of course it is. Sorry, back to you, Mo. Sorry to interject. Sorry,
I just, it's simple as I wanted Newcastle to go to the top. I wanted Newcastle to be allowed to spend. Husam thinks that the Newcastle owners wanted to spend as much as they can. And we don't know. I have no idea what they wanted to do.
Oh, you already know they want to spend. You already know. Come on.
I know, but they were denied the spending as much, and rightfully so, because of the reason that Terry said, what if they spend that much money and then they're like, you know what? We spoke about this even behind the scenes when Terry told me, what if they spend that much money and then they thought, well, you know what? This is not as good as we thought it is. We want to sell this club. Okay, who's paying the wages? Who's clearing the debt? That can be a big problem. So
yeah, but Mo, that's why you need a global franchise. That's why you need a global club.
Yeah, Habibi, when they bought the club, they thought it's a 10-year and we'll be where City are. City bought in 2018. They won 2 league titles on the way. And then Pep Guardiola came in and now look where they are. They thought this is going to be the case. It might not be the case without the spendings. Man City spent 2 billion? 2 billion in that period? In 2008, since 2008 until now? Newcastle are not going to be allowed to spend that much in 10, 15 years because of the rules and the regulations.
Unless they buy a club that already makes a shitload of money.
Which is, I think this is what they realized. And I think it's the Saudi League. The Saudi League has more attention in the world.
There could be
that. People telling me we turn to watch Neymar now and CR7 in the Saudi League.
Tell them the name of that club, Mo, that has all that money.
But I mean, I know you're twerking here, right? But this is it also could just be the absolute truth that they're like, do you know what? We just want to throw more money at our league because all that. And again, I don't want to speak out of turn here. I know on paper, PIF has nothing to do with the Saudi government. But would you say in reality, gentlemen, both from that region of the world, especially yourself, would you say
can you stop being sarcastic?
No, I'm not.
We can see the smile. We can see the smile.
I'm not being sarcastic. I'm being tactful, right? Because the internet's a weird place. I know on paper it isn't owned by the royal family of Saudi Arabia or the government, but essentially it is, right? Am I right in thinking that?
Yes. Okay, yeah, everything is owned by the royal family.
The world is crazy, and people will have a go at me for it, and I might get cancelled. Do you know what I'm saying? But this is the thing. It is not inconceivable that they, as a family, as a government, have sat down and gone, look, I love what we're doing at Newcastle. Lovely place, great people. But it's going to take, because what they're going to have to do to get, and this is the one thing that the Abu Dhabi did brilliantly with Man City. And this is what you'd have to do with Newcastle, is they bought streets and roads and property and land, which again is different from pumping money in for transfers. Then what they did is they incorporated it within the Manchester City group. And then they've sold off I swear, this is Big Steve told me this. There are streets that are now sponsored by like noodle companies and stuff, right? So it's a way of generating the revenue. But all of that has been how many years they've owed? That's like a 15-year plan to get to the point now where City have got this money. It's been part of a 15-year plan. Even City, it wasn't, they took over in the summer of 2009. And within 2 or 3 years, they won a Premier League in 2012, right? But that was when they had 3 years of unlimited spending. They won another one a couple of years later. It wasn't until like 7 or 8 years of building, growing revenues, and then bringing in Pep. And by the way, I just want to throw this out there. There is still the potential that wasn't done within the rules. There's a case on that, right? So even them as an example, Of course, it was going to take a long time. So, yeah, look, I just feel that I do feel for Newcastle. I'm not even trying to be horrible or nasty. I hope it isn't true for their sake. I genuinely mean that.
I hope it's true.
Of course, you hope it's true. As a Man
The only club that
I want
you want to know, honestly, the only club that worries me, and I'm talking here strictly financial before people start crying in the chat. Of course, our clubs are incomparable in terms of size and which club is bigger and all that shit. The only club that worries me is Tottenham Hotspur, because we're not the only club that has the foundations. Also, Spurs have.
If Tottenham, and what Tottenham have got, what would probably save a lot of money, because it seems to, in England anyway, it's much more expensive to fucking build a stadium than it is to buy one, seemingly, because of all the regulation and the money people make. They've got that stadium. And I know you guys have renovated yours, and it's in London. And maybe Saudi Arabia will look at it and go, they're already like in the top 8 richest clubs in the world in terms of turnover. We buy it, pump more money into it. It's already kind of got that infrastructure where they can just be like, look, you know, we're going to get even more literally, we're going to get Beyonce at halftime, bruv, and charge everybody. Like,
that's the only thing. That's genuinely the only club I worry about.
They could probably add 200 or 300. You got to remember, they added 39% turnover to that of Newcastle when they first arrived. So there was 39%. Just looking at the last, I'm going on to Deloitte's website here and looking at the last wait for this to load. The last set of accounts that they have public for Spurs, number 8 they were, and they turned over 631 million. So let's just do the same. If they added 39% to that, that's 246 million pound additional they could bring in, right? Suddenly, if they could raise it by the same percentage as they did Newcastle, that would give them a turnover of 877 million, which, according to the last set of trading accounts that was submitted, no, number 1, Real Madrid was Real Madrid was 831 million on Deloitte's site. So that's what I'm saying. If they went into a Spurs or a Liverpool, or any of those teams, a Liverpool, they wouldn't be able to get Bayern Munich, a Chelsea, an Arsenal, and they grew them by the same percentage as they did Newcastle, they'd become the richest team in the world in a year. So that's why I see it as a no. Again, their objective, by the way, isn't to make Liverpool the best team in the world. It isn't to make Newcastle the best team in the world. It's to grow the reputation and the brand of Saudi Arabia. So from their point of view, the quicker they can do that, the better. They've done it with the boxing, and they're looking at all the fights they're getting, the money and the attention and tourism, and they're probably looking at the football thinking, this is too slow. I kind of get it. From a business standpoint, it makes absolute
sense.
The
clock is ticking, because 2026 is the World Cup in USA, Canada, and Mexico. 2030 is where I think the World Cup is going to be held in Saudi. Now, if the World Cup is held in Saudi in 2030, this is 6 years from now.
Isn't it 2034?
On this, though, can I ask you guys a question? On this, how much closer do you think this brings Arsenal to getting their main target in Isak now, who is refusing a new deal, or so we're led to believe? They clearly need a prolific striker. How much closer do you think this is now making that potential deal?
So if Eddie Howe gets sacked and Newcastle go down the road of not getting a top manager and getting someone that is not a big name, I think the likes of Isak and Gordon will go. I think they will stop believing in the project. When Isak and Gordon joined Newcastle, I believe it was to the promise that we're building, we're moving forward. Imagine if Newcastle finish 9th this season or 10th or something like that. I think Isak will push for a move. Arsenal will come knocking. I believe there will be other teams. Man United might be coming knocking. There is going to be Chelsea as well. They're going to face competition. But I think the likes of Gordon might go to Liverpool. The likes of Isak will go. I actually believe there are news that Eddie Howe might get sacked. It depends who they get. If they don't go for a big name, I believe the top players will absolutely leave the club. And they will leave in a cut price. They won't leave for 150 because the Saudis wouldn't care that much, to be honest. They will just want their investment back. Maybe Arsenal will get Isak in the summer. Maybe Liverpool will get Gordon. But I believe this guy, Isak, deserves better. And when I mean better, he deserves to be in a title. With all due respect to Newcastle, I back Newcastle. I like Newcastle. I like the Saudi owners. I want my Arab guys to succeed, right? I want them to succeed. However, You can't have Isak sitting 11th in the league. Cannot be January or February when Isak is not playing Champions League football. It's not even on the horizon to play European football next season. And he makes that much money. 100% I want Isak to be a better club. He deserves better. You cannot tell me that Isak is not better than Solanke, who left Bournemouth to go to Spurs to play European football. Isak will leave. He will force the move. He will ask to go. And the likely destination is going to be Arsenal, unless they're going to get Gyökeres. It's Arsenal. I believe he's the one who completes that forward line. I don't know what happens to Kai Havertz, but Isak to Arsenal in the summer. If Newcastle finish below 7th, Isak is gone. He's going to, maybe, by the way, I don't know if it's Man United, Chelsea, but more likely it's going to be Arsenal. And it's not going to be 150 million. It's not.
Mo, can you stop working for Man United now? You're doing too much. The last 24 hours.
Why am I working for Man United?
The last 24 hours, you've become the biggest Man United simp on YouTube. Stop it. Khalas, now it's
Why?
enough. You went from telling them they're finished a week ago and they're no longer that club now.
I never believed they're going to get an Amorim. I never believed it. Why are you scared? 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 Why are you in Saudi and scared and want your club to be? Are you afraid of Amorim? Are you afraid of Amorim? You're afraid. You're afraid of Amorim. I can see it in your eyes. You're afraid of Amorim. You're afraid that Man United will go back to the top. But anyway, reality is.
Sing it with me, Mo. Sari.
Yeah, I sang this for 10 years. Like ever since I went to primary school, preschool in Saudi Arabia. Preschool since I was 5 years old and I was 10 years old. I sang this every day at school, bro. Every day at school. So anyway, listen.
Mo, you know Isak. Here's the thing, Mo. Isak is
I know you know Isak is going, right?
But not United. Relax.
Why not?
That's
you are the one who tell me Man United with a competent manager can absolutely attract the top players.
Man United now need to understand something, and you understand this as well. You're a smart man. Amorim will need time. This ship that's been falling for the last 13 years is not gonna suddenly become that. They're still the Titanic, yani. Yes, they're big and everything, but it's gonna fall in the iceberg. So relax. They need to make a yacht first a dinghy boat, then a yacht, then like a massive ship. It's a step-by-step process. Yeah, maybe Jurgen Klopp.
You're afraid of Amorim. I can see it in your eyes.
Jurgen Klopp, who won 2 league titles in Germany and got Dortmund to a Champions League final. It took him 4 years to fix it.
He came to you. You reached a Europa League final. 2 years, you're in a Champions League final. 1 year.
Years.
He came 2015. 2017, you were in Champions League final. You fraud.
First half season, Europa League final. Second season, 4th, no finals.
And then final.
Yeah, third season was when he got to Champions League final. But that's my point. That's Klopp as well. So this shit will take time, yahi. You cannot say already from now Isak to Man United.
I look like Amorim, so I need to absolutely back Amorim. Yeah,
you look like Amorim. How you do now? No, you don't know.
Yeah, look, the interesting one for Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal need a player like this, and I think with all this going on at Newcastle, I think that when it comes again for Arsenal, I think it's presented a really good opportunity for them, and I mean that from the perspective of Amorim is now gone. Look, they may continue where they've left off with the new manager, but they're 9 wins from 9. They're in the semi-finals of their domestic trophy, which they won a quarter-final last night, I believe. They're current defending champions. Is the next manager going to be as good as Amorim? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. But that might create some instability there with the Gyökeres situation. We know there's instability when it comes to Isak and Newcastle. That's been very well documented, very well published. I think Arsenal have got to start pushing now as we're going into November, ahead of that January window, and try and sign one of them then. Yes, it's going to be more expensive. We're seeing reports of you might be able to get Gyökeres for sort of 50 to 70 million euros in the summer. Everybody's cheaper in the summer. But depending on Arsenal, if they can get to January, what they're going to be 3 points, 5 points behind the teams at the top. I think they have to go for it big. And I believe with Amorim leaving and with the unrest that's currently in Newcastle, I think it makes those deals easier. I think it makes those deals closer in terms of the ability to getting them done. Where if Newcastle were flying right now, sitting 3rd in the league, if Amorim was staying and they were killing it and they were top of the league, the likelihood of getting those players out in January is so hard. I think the opportunity now is closer and easier than before, and Arsenal should be jumping upon it. Equally, I think Chelsea should be doing something similar, because I know that typically speaking, you don't want to move into January. But where you may be, a great chance of making it into the Champions League. Who knows with Chelsea? They beat Man United this weekend, as many of their fans believe they will. They keep getting better and better. You themselves might only be a handful of points at the top. And then it's a case of bring someone of that level in now. I mean, Isak, I think, is excellent. Gyökeres as well. I know he's not doing it at the same level. But, I mean, have you guys seen his free kick from last night? Have you watched it?
No.
I'm sorry, I'm not a Man United fan to watch Sporting versus CD Nacional. Stop it.
I didn't watch the game. I'm saying the goal's been all over socials. Just watch that ball. You can't hit a ball with that accuracy, power, technique, and not be a good footballer. I don't believe it's possible. I
I agree with you, and I don't think he's like Nunes because he done it in the Championship. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot, Terry. Now, you're on the hot seat. Now you have to answer this question. Ruben Amorim, where would you rank him? Premier League managers. So tell me your top 5 and see if he's in it. And don't cop out and tell me he hasn't managed here yet.
No. I'm not going to cop out and do that, right? Are we basing this on? Then we're basing it on CVs, right?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm just getting a water bottle.
Yeah,
yes.
So we're basing it on CVs. Pep's number 1, of course he is. Number 2. On CVs, it's got to be Unai Emery. We're basing it on CVs.
Not only the number of trophies. That's not what Husam meant. Can you clarify?
Because I can't judge him on how good
he needs to clarify. He needs to clarify.
Husam, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
I'll give you the example.
He's saying Unai Emery second in the league.
Okay. Relax, Mo. I'm gonna explain it. I'm not just saying rank them in terms of trophies, because anyone in the chat can just add trophies and go like, oh, this guy has more trophies than the other guy.
Yes, exactly, bro.
I'm saying you're Manchester United owner. You want to hire a new manager. Rank the top 5, pushing aside rivalries and narratives and all that shit. So I'll give you an example. Let's use the perfect example. Arteta has only won an FA Cup, but you would say right now he's probably a better manager than Amorim. Fair?
Who?
Arteta, that is.
Why do you put him on the spot like this?
I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. But I'm saying, I'll give you an example. Before Slot became the Liverpool manager, if you told me Slot or Arteta, I'd say Arteta. Despite the fact that Slot won a league with Feyenoord, which is similar to Amorim winning with Sport.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if you base it on what they've done this is why it's hard, though. If you're basing it on what they've done in the Premier League, Almarin's 20th. He ain't kicked the ball here yet. So but if we're basing it on, again, I can't base it on what they've done in the Premier League. Amorim,
yeah, but even if he hasn't managed the game in the Premier League, it's not like you're taking Thomas Frank over him.
I'm going to ask the questions simpler. I think we're beating around the bush. Terry, you had a chance now to sign Arteta today or Amorim for Man United. Which one are you taking? Why? Husam is doing the thing, bro.
Okay, let's establish first the easy one. Pep or Amorim? Pep.
Okay, Pep.
Yeah. Arteta or Amorim?
Yes.
Amorim.
That's it.
Okay, Maresca or Amorim?
Yeah, who? Sorry,
Maresca or Amorim?
Amorim.
Ainge or Amorim?
Who?
Ainge or Amorim?
Amorim.
Okay, Amorim or Slot?
Slot.
What?
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, hold on. Can I go back? Slot or Arteta for you? If you would have signed someone today.
The thing is, right? We're
not putting you on the spot. We actually want to know how do you assess managers.
I'm trying to explain my thought process to this. It can't be based on what they've just done in the Premier League, because Almarin's not kicked a ball here. Okay, it has to be based on what I've seen from them as a manager and what they've won. So again, managers that have won league titles, domestic trophies, etc. Like I've seen Slot win things. Okay, I've seen Pep. Obviously, we've seen Amorim win things. We have seen. So that's why I'm saying that. If you're basing it on what they've done in the Prem, well, Amorim comes last because he hasn't kicked the ball here yet. If I'm basing,
but that's not how you choose managers.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. When I look at a manager, I do look at their style of play. I look at how they've done in a particular league, but I can't ignore their CV. Again, right now, I would. Again, it's a weird one, right? So like Unai Emery's won things.
Yes, Amorim or Emery. Good question.
Again, I'm not saying I wouldn't take Emery, but I would go with Amorim. And I tell you as to why I would go with him. And equally, this is why, like, I feel like he's had a chance at a number of big clubs and it hasn't quite worked. And the sort of red flag with me is, would he handle the pressure of Man United? Now, by the way, Amorim might not handle the pressure of Man United as well, but I don't know what I don't know. So it's not a red flag to me, if that makes sense. A red flag only happens when something is said or is done that makes you go, oh, bloody hell, I didn't know that. So, yeah.
Someone asked a very good question in the chat. Huh? Ten Hag, after he left Ajax, at that time, or
Great
Arteta
point.
today?
Arteta
today.
No,
question.
why Arteta? Make it Amorim.
No, forget Amorim, because they're very similar, actually. They're very, very similar, in my opinion.
No, they're not. Mo, stop it.
I know what you mean, Husam, but that's the
No, but
question.
Mo,
The question
winning
is,
the league,
I'm trying to think here, and you guys won't stop
Sam,
talking.
can you
Okay, Mo, let me tell you one thing. Let me say one
thing, bro.
Okay, Mo, I'll tell you one
the question
statement.
as I want. It's not you, Habibi. I read the question in the chat. I can't remember who. Arteta today, in his 5-year process at Arsenal, or Ten Hag when he left Ajax with the Champions League semi-final, with the tacticals, putting him up there, the genius is gonna end Klopp and Pep. That is a very fair comparison.
Do you want to know what, again? Because this is why it's hard, right? Because in that comparison, I have to ignore what I now know about Ten Hag, don't I?
Of course, 100%.
Okay,
of course.
I want to preface that because there are some people, some trolls that watch the Terrace who they're not trusted with toasters. They won't understand that. Again, you would go for Ten Hag, and I'll tell you as to why. Okay, and it's why I'm saying like Amorim, and I think Arsenal. I've said it for a while. Are in a scary position. But one of the elements that people ignore when I've spoke about this is that it's win-win, which is, I think they're on the precipice, on the edge of winning major trophies. If it doesn't work, their manager, and he goes, and Alonso comes in as an example, or Inzaghi comes in, I still think they keep getting better and they go on and win those trophies. So when I speak about Arsenal being scary, Arsenal being dangerous, I'm talking about where they sit currently. I don't think if Arteta leaves Arsenal, they're going to fall off and go back to the end of the Wenger era again and be sitting 8th in the league, right? I don't well, that was more Emery, but I don't think that's going to happen again. So yes, based on what I think Arteta can win major trophies for Arsenal, but there's no proof that he will win a league title. With the other managers, we've seen them win league titles. The one thing you would throw when it comes, and someone says a minute ago, Terry, you're flip-flopping because you wanted Alonso more. Yeah, I did. But that doesn't mean I think Amorim's a bad manager. Like there's a fundamental difference in that. So it's a hard one. It's a real hard one. Like if someone plus I'm not going to lie, there's an element of bias in me because that is now my manager, and just the way I am, I don't care whether people like it or loathe it. When someone becomes my manager or my player, I have a certain affinity towards them, and I'm going to defend them a bit. But I think Amorim's a really talented young manager. I would put Pep and I'd put Slot above him. I think the Arteta one and him is really close. But this man has won 2 league titles. Again, he went to a team that are not the richest or even second richest in their country, hadn't won a league title in 20 years, and he's won them 2 in the last 3 years.
Their best
players being sold, and he's currently top 9 wins from 9. I think he's a very, very special up-and-coming manager who, if the board get it right and we run the club properly and we back him, and backing him doesn't mean just spending money for the 50,000th time, I believe he could be a very successful manager in England. But only again, he's a winner at the level he's been at. Can he translate that? I don't know. Moving on quickly.
Yeah, can I give you my?
Go on.
I want to give you my take on this. I'm taking over Amorim only 4 managers: Pep, Slot, 3, and Arteta. Those are the only that I think are probably better than Amorim. So that's how special I think this guy is. So that was the reason why I wanted to ask you. And the Emery point, because people always start just adding up trophies. With all due respect to everyone in the chat, Unai Emery managed PSG, failed, managed Arsenal, failed already. If I was the owner of the 14 clubs outside the top 6 and possibly Spurs because they're crap, if I was the owner of 15 clubs, I choose Emery over Arteta. But if I owned Arsenal, Liverpool, City, Man United, or Chelsea, I'm choosing Arteta over Emery. That's my logic.
The thing is, some people are saying here, and I get it. I can't find it. You know, Terry's going to be delusional for a few months here. Terry doesn't even make sense right now. I don't think I don't make sense. I just think you don't agree with me, which is fine. And listen, by the way, if the question is based on what they've done in the Premier League, is Arteta better than Amorim? The answer is yes. The answer is absolutely yes. But that isn't the question. Amorim has got over the line and won league titles when they weren't the favourites or even the top 2 favourites to do it. He's done a domestic double when they weren't the favourites to do it, whilst losing some of his best players. That's a manager that has the ability to be special. The only reason he'll fail at Man United is if the culture doesn't change, or essentially if he abandons his principles. If he is backed, and that backing means enabling him to instill his principles, there's an opportunity for him. And interestingly, look, guys know I rate Arteta. I think he's a very, very good manager. And again, if Arteta wins the league this year, and then we readdress the question at the end of the season and go, now who do you think's better? I'd say Arteta.
Yeah.
Because then he's won the league and he's won the league title in a better and harder country. So I'm not sitting here and being over. There's an element of bias because he's now going to be my manager. But I'm not saying your manager's crap. I even said a few weeks ago, if Man United sacked Ten Hag and announced we were taking Arteta from Arsenal, I wouldn't have been disappointed. So again, please don't fall into this trap of thinking, Terry just said Arteta's shit. Terry just said that Big Ange's shit. No, that's not what I'm saying in any way, shape or form. It's a very hard question because I'm basing one on what I've seen him do in the Prem and CV, and the other one I'm basing it on his CV. It's my answer is just a feeling, no more than that, because no one knows the truth right now.
That's why we asked you, because
that's why they asked me a hard question. It's not meant to trigger anybody. Fucking hell. Anyway, let's move on from that. This year, Xerxes plus 25 million. Go get Yulkares in the summer. That would be amazing. Can you
already give up on Xerxes, bro? Already
give
up on Xerxes, bro.
I would give up on, but I think Yulkares is better. I'd give up on Xerxes today to have Yulkares come in. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's like saying, would you give up on Nunez to have your Jokeres? Of course you would.
Yeah. Well, look, I would give up on Ugarte today if it meant I could get Rodri. Well, maybe not, so that's what I mean. It's not about turning my back on him per se. What happened to the heated shows? They'll be back very soon, my friend. Mr. Terry, in terms of world-class players, do you see any potential in the current squad to reach the level? Look, I think
no, read the rest of it. It gets better.
No, I can see it. I'm not reading it.
What is the Empoli?
I don't know what that means at the end.
They play Inter today. That's why.
Okay. Mainu potentially. Yenny Loro potentially. Listen, people will call in Onana world class before he came to Man United, but we will see. They are buying property around Newcastle and even paying for local schools. They are committed to the area. Well, that's good to hear, my friend. And
I respect that, Jay, but that does not deny the fact that they might change their mind. That's what I'm saying.
And equally, Jay, like, as I said, I hope that these reports are wrong, and I hope that they stay at Newcastle for your sake. Would they buy a club with ready success? Isn't buying a club like Newcastle because they want the prestige of being the reason for their success?
Okay, but here's the thing, Patrick. I'll give you a very simple analogy. Hill climbing analogy. If someone's at 50% of the hill and you help them climb the other 50%, you're still one of the reasons why they climbed the 50%. But if a club needs 100% of climbing to do, yes, you are right in terms of would it mean more? Perhaps, of course, if Newcastle won the league, it would mean more. But you're getting your target done in a quicker time. That's my logic about it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Listen, I don't know, like about this Newcastle thing. I think they're going to sell the club, to be honest with you. Same. Soon. I'm being genuinely serious. I think they're going to sell the club.
Yeah, look, I kind of get it. Look, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with all of that. Something else is in my head I was going to say then, and my son walked in and I completely lost my train of thought.
Big up future Liverpool captain.
There we go. Oh, no, here it says Arteta, serial loser. Look, when people say he's a serial loser, the last 2 years he's been in title races and not won. Some people think he's never going to win a major trophy, and I respect that opinion. My brother thinks he will never win a major trophy, but my brother's also the same guy that I remember after Andy Murray lost his first couple of Grand Slam semi-finals and finals, said he'll never win a Grand Slam. Went on to be world number one, went on to win 3, went on to win 2 gold Olympic medals. So I think that Arteta is too young to completely write off right now. I think he can win those trophies. I do. Busy writing my own Husam list of managers better than Arteta, waiting for the season to end.
I love how I've started this list thing, but relax. Don't take it
We've got like
personal.
10 minutes left, guys. We're going to get really stupid. I want to ask you one question about Spurs. Yeah, sorry. Poor Mo looking depressed on the takeover talk for his club. Feel sorry for him. Cut back on investment like Clear Lake, not sports. I don't know what you mean.
But that actually contradicts what you just said. You literally just told us that they invested in the schools and everything. That's called investments. You just didn't he just send another super chat saying that they invested in the schools? But that doesn't make any sense.
By the way, they could buy Arsenal to beat with them.
Yeah, but that's
the
more
brother-
of an outside chance. I don't see Kroenke selling. FSG want to buy an NBA team. That's the difference.
The brothers who own 15% were that's the Rubin brothers. They own they're worth 25 billion. That is also true. What are they putting in? Let us know. They could buy Arsenal to compete with City. That's true. So is the FA Cup not a major trophy? No, it is. And he has won a major trophy. I'm talking about, let me specify, I'm talking about winning a league title or a Champions League. So yeah, he's won an FA Cup, which is a major trophy in my personal opinion. So he's already got one, which is why, again, I don't call him a serial loser. Again, I'm not that disrespectful to him. Am or I'm, no L in his name, easy, Ted.
Shawnee, I've never been more confused.
I have
my whole
no
life.
idea what you're talking about, bruv. Thank you, though. Terry, can I interest you in Chilwell? Absolutely not.
Chilwell left wing back would cook.
Not. Just quickly, because I don't want to run out of time because I've got somewhere to be after this show, and I know Mo's got a show starting. Tottenham, a lot of our teams are playing tonight. Chelsea, Newcastle, we're going to be live after the game. Man United play Leicester, Arsenal away to Preston, Liverpool. Who do you guys play? Brighton.
Brighton away.
Yeah, Brighton. Right, Brighton away. Tough game. I don't want to talk about any of us. How important is it tonight for Spurs to win? Because I sort of feel like out of all of our teams, the most amount of pressure is on Tottenham.
You know, Mo has to answer this one because Mo started believing in ghosts last season.
Who cares, bro? I don't think it matters I actually don't think this first thing that we started last season with Ange Postecoglou, unless the club is sold, who cares? I'm telling you, Spurs can play their first team today. Man City can play a second string team, and Man City still can win. And we'll just move on from it. I believe it's very important for them to win a cup competition. The problem is, I believe it doesn't matter if they win against City or not. They won't get it over the line. I've not seen Spurs win anything since 2000, since Juan de Ramos. It's 16 years later. Who cares? Well, I'm sorry for Spurs fans. I'm genuinely sorry for people that support the Spurs because they thought that Pochettino is going to do something with you. I salute you. I love you. I like you. But you aren't getting anywhere. It's ridiculous how we still talk about Spurs in 2024. Who cares? But we can talk about Brighton. Maybe they beat Liverpool. Maybe Brighton win a trophy. They can go and surpass Spurs. Spurs make a lot of money. Good for them, bro. Good for you, Spurs fans. Great for you. You host a lot of concerts. Your stadium is absolutely fantastic. It doesn't matter unless your club is sold. It is very important for Ange because if he loses today, I think they lose their heads. I genuinely think if they lose today, I think Spurs fans lose their head. There's a lot of pressure on him from the Spurs fans to win trophies. I don't believe he will deliver a trophy. I don't think he will deliver a trophy. For me, City are going to throw the game away. Already, Pep Guardiola said that. I know a lot of people want to put pressure. Come on now. We know what is going to happen. They might win against Spurs and then they will lose against Coventry or something later in a different game. More pressure. I don't know what Sam thinks as well, but
the Carabao Cup is Spurs' Champions League. Like, I don't give a fuck what anyone says. This is the listen, right here, right now, Pep has told you he's gonna rotate the whole team. So that's your opportunity. Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool, I'd assume aren't taking it as seriously because we have European competitions. Arsenal may be a threat, of course, because they do want to win something, get something on the board. But people need to understand something. If Spurs win the Carabao Cup, Ainge, you must give him statue. Give him a statue directly because it's the equivalent of winning Champions League. Listen, every day I fucking switch on my YouTube app and there's a new Spurs fan crying about Ainge and all that shit, and they never learn. They don't understand the bigger problem of their football club, which is everyone upstairs. They sabotage themselves Me, Mo, and Terry could have given Spurs a better transfer window with the same exact budget. Have some shame, Spurs fans. Bergvall and Archie Gray, and you want your manager to be fucking successful and get top 4. Sit your ass on the floor. You're not even bigger than Leeds. You're not even bigger than Newcastle for me as a club size. If my son, inshallah, Project Mbappe will be soon released, 2 years. If my son comes to me, is like, Dad, I don't want to support Liverpool. I want to slap. I want to support Tottenham Hotspur. I'll give him adoption directly. I'm like, listen, this cannot be part of the Husam bloodline because we are winners. We can't. If he told me I'll support Newcastle or Leeds, I'll be like, fair enough. Do your thing. You get me? It's not a Liverpool rival. I'll let you have it. But you cannot, by definition, tell me you want to support Spurs. That club is the biggest loser club. I called it from 12 months ago. This fraud in the middle was calling me a Spurs hater. Then he started saying the same thing I said a month later when they fell off. You get me? So let's give Husam his flowers when Husam was right. But all jokes aside, this is extremely important for Spurs because they need to develop the winning culture. And if they don't develop the winning culture, even with something as small as the Carabao Cup, they'll never fucking build it, ever.
Bro, their owner fired Mourinho 1 day before the cup final, bro. Who cares, bro? Who cares, bro? They could have won a trophy. And listen, I asked Jacob the other day, what is the point of your club? And he couldn't answer. I want to understand what's the point of Spurs. They don't sell their best players to the top clubs like the Brightons, so they're not a feeder club. They get a lot of good players in them. They get worse. They don't get better. They don't win anything. What's the point? I know that people want to be fair to Spurs. I was fair to you last season. You made me believe in ghosts. I'm not fair to you again. I'm done. I can't back you again, bro. I can't.
You know what's going to be interesting tonight is seeing Tottenham's lineup. If they don't go full strength, they need to they need to hang their heads in shame. Because look, they're up against City, which means you should play your best team probably anyway. City, in my opinion, with KDB on his way back, with Rodri out, they're going to make some changes. They're going to have some kids out there. This is an opportunity to, again, if you want to win this trophy and you get City this early in it at home, where they're going to play some of their kids, this is your chance to knock them out. You get them in the semis, you get them in the final, they're going full strength. So it's a case of, this is your opportunity. You'll play no harder team than Man City in this tournament. Knock them out. If they themselves rotate and they start Werner, they're not trying to win it. And I'm just so intrigued to see what Tottenham do. And I know every team has to win trophies and there's pressure on all of us. But I just feel with Tottenham, with what he said as well about I always win trophies in my second year, if he rotates his squad, plays a weaker team, you know, questions have got to be asked about this man and how much of a winner is he really?
There's one possibility that happens today. Man City play the kids, Tottenham play their starting 11, and they lose at home to City. And at that time, cancel the club.
Delete the club.
Delete, just shift, delete, bro. Finished. And bro, if this happens, halas, you're done. Halas, Tottenham, there's no point. There's no point of view. You're done. Imagine he plays Brennan Johnson, Solanke's son, and O'Reilly, McAtee,
and they beat
these guys play, and they beat them. Halas, they're done, bro.
It's this. He's got to win. Again, unless City go full strength, then I understand it. They're a much better team. But if City go weak, or Tottenham go weak at the same time, and they don't win, there's got to be major questions asked. 16 out of 10 here says Husam actually believing nonsense reports about Saudi interest in us by frauds like Miguel Delaney, and he wonders why he gets cooked.
Says the guy that gets cooked the most on this whole platform. Also, Delaney is not a fraud.
I have never, I always say about that video, I have never seen two ladies so disgusted with being complimented in my life. I've never seen it in my life. And that list will be on a typewriter and not Husam's MS doc program.
It's just the notepad app, you fucking drama queens.
The day we sign Zubimendi and Alexis McAverage gets dropped to the bench will be a beautiful day. Grav and Zubimendi together, quad incoming.
That sometimes it's better to just ignore. Arguing with a fool makes you a fool.
I have heard that somewhere. Bro,
drugs are bad for you, bro.
I want to thank every single person that's tuned into the show today. This is going to now redirect you to Footy Judge Mo's channel. So make sure you go and subscribe. Make sure you go over there and support his channel. Please hit the like button before you leave. Around 1,100 people have done that already, which is amazing. So please make sure you get that done. We're back later tonight for the match reactions, and I'm so looking forward to football tonight with no Ten Hag ball. It's amazing. Life is great. Until next time, people, take care. Goodbye. God bless, and we'll see you soon. Peace.